Hello and welcome back. This is Coolidge. We're doing a let's learn how to play EU4 Castile. In this particular one, we're going to talk about this interface, which you'll use a lot. I think I started talking about some things, but not that much. So on the government screen, I can get advisors. They cost money, and then they cost money for each month. 4 gold monthly or 1 gold, and then the plus 3 is like 20 gold a month. You're definitely going to want these if you can afford them, because that impacts these Monarch points. So I increase plus 4 monthly on this one, 4 and 5, and that's based on base value of plus 3 because I'm a Western nation, and plus 1 because of my Monarch's skill. If I then got a plus, see this guy, oh, he's 9 monthly. This increases over the cost of the game, over the course of the game, though. If I get a plus 1 here, then it's obviously it's going to impact that by plus 1. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Diplomacy. That's so me. I have no rivals currently set. I have a truce and a reconquest casus belli with Granada. That's all that is telling me right now. This will tell me who I'm allied with, who I have royal marriages with, etc., etc. This particular number says 0 out of 4. Diplomatic relations. If I get a royal marriage and alliance with Portugal, which I'm going to do anyway, so I'll just do this. Wow, seriously? Oh. Yeah. Oh, see? I believe I'm the Holy Roman Emperor in that one. Well, this one obviously isn't. I didn't do much in this one. I want to just clean up that whole thing. Okay. That one's obviously useless. Okay, well. Anyway. They tried to save because I did something. They're allied with England right now, and then they'll also be allied with me after I do that. But what that'll do is that'll add a diplomatic relation. Now if I also get a royal marriage, that doesn't add a diplomatic relation. It's one relation with each country that you have a treaty with for something. That includes military access for human players. For AI, they don't get, that doesn't count. So AIs generally have diplomatic relations of military access with everybody, because if Lithuania is at war with Genoa for some reason, they'll end up asking for military access from Milan and from Savoy, because Genoa is also over here. Like, even though they never will go over here, they're only going over here. Like, they ask for all this military access. Anyway. And they don't get docked for it. So if I get 5 out of 4 here, that's going to dock me 1 point per month to maintain that. So then this will just be plus 3 per month. So that's what that out of 4 means. Now you can increase that through different means that we'll talk about when we get to it, but that's what that's doing. Here's my money. I get some sliders here. Obviously colonial maintenance, it's not doing anything. Same with missionaries. That's the cost of upkeeping these guys to do their job. Army maintenance. see, it's 3 gold for the army maintenance. Now, when I go all the way down to here, morale of armies minus 2.38. That's what this morale thing here. If I go down, my maximum morale will be 0.5 currently, which means that basically I can't even attack rebels. I will die. I have such low morale, but I'm saving 3 gold a month. Fleet maintenance, same type of deal. I can take some loans. I can repay loans. I think I can have 90 bank loans at the same time. But if you start even getting into like 30, like bad things are going to happen. If you're at war, you can spend military points to raise war taxes, which decreases these 2 costs. So this is knock 20% off of that for both of those. And it lasts for like 2 years, I think, or a year. So that's that. Trade, like I said at the beginning of the game, it's really not making much sense. Right now, you can see that the this is my current trade power in these nodes, which is not much. Yeah. Okay, technology. So these go up to 32, and it costs 600 for each with a base cost as a Western nation. As a Eastern nation, it's like 950 or something. As Ottomans, it's like a little over 1,000. As Muslim, it's like 1,200. I forget exactly. But as a Western nation, it's 600 as base cost. Different modifiers that do that. See, I have a university. Lots of countries don't start with a university, but I do. Right here. It's a unique building, and it's a technology cost minus 5%. So that impacts it, so it's only 568. As you can see, like this first one for military, land morale plus 5 is absolutely huge. Right now my morale is at maximum of 0.289. It would go up to 239, or at 339. And what morale does is, when in combat, if your morale breaks, your troops will basically stop fighting and run away like little sissies. So you want to break the other troops' morale before yours does, obviously, or you lose the battle. Okay, what is it? Early in the game, battles are fairly brutal because of everyone has low morale. Later in the game, the battles last a lot longer because everyone has a lot higher morale. As you can see, you know, level 4 it's up by a half. At level 15 it's 1. There's other things that also increase it. So yeah, tech number 4 for military is huge, and tech number 4 for administrative is also huge. This one not so much, but administrative is also huge because it unlocks a national idea group. The idea groups are here. Now, as Castile, I have Spanish ideas that will give me a colonist, a missionary. I'm devoutly Catholic. That increases my papal influence down here. I'm able to fabricate claims on colonies. I guess any colony. They changed this. Before, I was able to take any colony if I wanted it, if I had troops on it. Now anyone can do that. Treasure fleet, that increases trade and tariffs. Armada is going to be very important for the heavy ships. And then yearly prestige. As Spain, I start off with, actually, okay, Spanish Inquisition. No one expected it. This is true. And that increases missionary strength. But I start off with +1 missionaries and plus 10% morale boost. And then when all of them are unlocked, I get 25. So how do I unlock these? Well, each one takes 3 of these. So if I did like 1, 2, 3, then it would unlock this first one. Okay, so you need 30 before you unlock all of them, which just increases global settler increase, which just obviously makes it so that more people go to your colonies. So these are good, and they just slowly unlock as you unlock other things. But at level 4 and level 7, 10, 14 of administrative ideas, I can unlock these. So these things are ideas that they cost 400 points apiece, either in administrative, diplomatic, or military. And it's 400 for each one of these to move it along. Like I said, these points are very important because they do a lot of good things. A lot of times I will typically start off with diplomatic ideas, simply because that gives me an additional diplomat, which is very important. It increases my diplomatic relations, so I can have 2 more. So instead of that number of 4 back on this screen, I can have 2 more. So that's really good. Time to fabricate claims. Your diplomat has to go somewhere to go fabricate claims, and he'll be sitting there fabricating claims for like a year or whatever, months before, and he can't do anything else except for that. So that decreases the time, so that's good. War exhaustion, we'll talk about that later. That decreases cost, it's fine. You get a permanent CB against other government types, so if I was bordering like Venice, I would have a CB just to go say like, hey, you should be a monarchy. Diplomatic reputation +5 is huge. Like I said, diplomatic reputation is quite important. And these other ones aren't. I mean, this is for your peace talks, and this is for when you do things like, if I was to break that truce, it would go down to 3, I think, instead of 5, -5. If I was to break a truce with Granada, it would be -3 instead, or something like that, or -2, I don't know. One of the two. I don't break truces, though, generally. So that's a good one to have. And like I said, so these are all Diplo. I want all of the Diplo, usually, because they're really good. And a lot of times, I'll forsake tech and Diplo. The problem with that is, especially if you want to be a colonizing nation, you can't do that. You need to increase your colonial range with Diplo tech. And, that's level 7. I need to increase my ship levels so I have better ships. I can't. I have a hard time justifying not skipping this. Whereas if I was in Austria, by the end of the game, I'm like, level 20 here, level 8 here, level 30 here, or something. It's something like that. Military, I always want to be ahead of the game, and because that obviously you get better troops, and these increase, and you want to have the best troops. At the same time, you also want to have these types of things, like offensive ideas here is huge. Really good things on this one includes 25% force limits modifier, which we'll talk about when we get to that tab. 10% discipline, which is ridiculous, and the forced march, which allows them to move faster on enemy on provinces. So if I click on forced march, I can get across and intercept a lot sooner. Defensive ideas are also good. Morale plus 25% is huge. Attrition for enemies, so whenever an enemy is on your particular province, they'll take 1% casualties all the time, without them. You know, they don't have to be doing anything. They will just be taking casualties. You know, and quantity. You know, you get more manpower, higher force limits. So you know, there's lots of things over here that are good. And then over on the economic, there's also really good ones. Administrative ideas is currently the best one, I think. Not only do you get mercenary costs lowered, but you get this core creation cost lowered. If I was to own a province, I'll have like I'll have this button here to make a core. Right now that at base cost 80. This one would cost 160 to make. And so if this wasn't my core, I would want to have a cheaper cost, and that would be over on here. Yeah, let's just finish this up. Missions and decisions. Like I said, these missions are to kind of push you in a direction. You can take them and get some neat little benefits. Some benefits are better than others. Like lose war, like, yeah, whatever. You'll get these ones for if you have specific things, like, you know, you can see all the different what you need to have in order to do it. You know, if I have completed innovative ideas and I have very low overextension, which we'll talk about, then I can click that button and I will get settler chance plus 1% until 1821, which is the end of the game. There's also some major ones for a lot of countries. I can form the Spanish nation diplomatically. And this is if Granada does not exist, and if Aragon is either my vassal or in a personal union with me. I can click this button and my admin level is 10. I click this button and I become Spain. And it changes my capital to Madrid automatically. So I inherit Aragon, like all their territory, whatever it is at that time. So that's, I mean, these are pretty powerful things. Stability and stability. So overextension is like if I was to attack Morocco and take a couple provinces, I would be overextended as until I made those my cores. So if it goes over 100%, you're in serious problem. You're in a lot of trouble. You'll get rebels all over the place. You don't want it to ever go over 100%. If it's below 100%, you're fine. It's actually quite bad how it's such a, like, if you're at 99%, it's not good, but it's not, there's nothing really bad's gonna happen, other than you'll get warnings and stuff. But if you go over that, you're in a lot of trouble. Unfortunately, as you grow, the cost to core things, the time that it takes, increases with your size, and so it gets harder and harder to manage your overextension. War exhaustion, this happens because of, you know, if all your troops die all of a sudden, you'll get massive amounts of war exhaustion. You can reduce it either just through peace reduces it by 0.1, or you can reduce it through pressing the button. If it goes over 10, I think, or if it gets, maybe it has to be way up here, you'll start getting lots and lots of problems with rebels. Stability, I think I've already mentioned this. This is important to have, and it explains why. I usually am at like 1, because if I try to go to 2, it adds 100% cost, and 3 it's like 200%, or is it 50% and 100 or something. It's very expensive to get up to the top, and it's quite good to get there, but I usually just wait for events to get me up there. This is just telling me some other things about my colonial range. Yeah. Religion. It's telling me that Sweden is currently the controller. My religious unity is at 100%. It will tell me what provinces are not Catholic, or my religion, which is Catholic. If I spend 500 gold, I can become Defender of the Faith. Other countries, if they're attacked by a non-Catholic nation, will call me to war. So long as I honor that call, I will stay Defender of the Faith. I think after a couple hundred years, after a couple years, if someone else's prestige is higher than yours, they can take the title from you. So as long as your prestige is high, which, you know, Defender of the Faith increases your prestige, then you'll keep it. But if you don't honor that call to war, you'll lose the title. But it does, you know, it has one cost, which is it increases technology. However, it's got a lot of good things: morale boost, prestige, papal influence, lots of good things. And finally, the military. This is the force limit. We're currently capable of supporting 28 land units without penalties. As you go over that force limit, basically it just costs more and more money to maintain them. Naval going over isn't as expensive as Army, I've found. This is how you change your which unit to use, and it'll tell you the different pips for each of those units. So for this particular Latin medieval infantry, which is basically what everybody starts with, I have offensive morale of 1, how much morale damage it will inflict. Defensive morale, on the other hand, is how much the amount of damage depends in part on the offensive morale value of the attacking units and defensive morale value of the defending units. You can theory craft this a lot and figure out which ones you want. Usually I try to have, especially in the early game, you want high shock value. You know, clearly I don't have any shock value right now. I only have these, but once I get to level 5, I usually take longbow because it's got a higher shock value. It's got lower defensive morale, but the shock value is huge because the shock is the first phase of the combat. And we'll talk about combat when we get to it. But yeah, this explains different things. Discipline is at 100%. When you're looking at those unit ideas, you can increase that discipline, and discipline is really good to have. Even just 5% can definitely make a battle. Military tactics have to do with reducing your damage. There's a formula, and I don't know if anyone really cares. So if I was to switch this, all of their morale would go to 0, and they'd change to that particular one. You can change your land units like that. Your naval units, you have to build entire new ones if you get better ones. You can hire leaders. Right now I have a leader. I can also make a leader out of my ruler. having him as a general decreases his life expectancy. Having him as a general in battle decreases it even more. So I don't know if I want to do that right now, because my air is horrible. So I know I went over on time again, but I think I ended up talking about everything. Actually, there's only one other thing, and that's the production interface. And this is just so I can what's nice is I've got 5 units of cavalry, and it explains that. Calves, I don't make a lot of calves, and I should make more. And someone asked me about that in my channel. But they are very good in the early game. Extremely good. And they are very good at flanking. And when we go to a battle, we'll see them. But, like, you know, I can just build them this way. And then I can build, you know, these guys this way. Buildings, same way. Not gonna build that, but... And same with ships. So, the production interface is how you're gonna do the... sometimes it bugs out and you don't see these. You just have to reload the game. So, with that, I'm going to conclude this introductory part of just the interface and explaining the game. And then, yeah, I guess we'll move on to actually playing it. Thanks for watching. Bye.